Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Biola Alabi.
And I'm Tundra Abiola.
Our next guest is LaTonya Washington, who is an authority on customer culture and cultural diversity. She is known for her interactive customer service training and motivation. Her objective is building a company's culture that attracts excellent brand awareness and an environment that enables employees to thrive and succeed within the office as well as when they engage with the customers. After 30 years of operating in the medical field with a degree in nursing, she has developed skills on how to effectively leverage language and interactive models for successful engagement with customers as well as employees. Ms. Washington is a graduate of Youngstown State University School of Nursing and attended the UCLA Extension Program in Public Relations, specializing in fundraising and special events. Right here with Ms. Washington is Constance Moonzwe, a business consultant and leadership expert who overcame the grief of losing a husband so early in life to build up a staffing company that has successfully delivered professionals in hospitality, engineering, and health risk management all over the United States. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So quickly, I'm going to start with Tonya. And my question to you, because one of the things we see a lot of people in the medical field stay in the medical field. Yes. So you have a nursing degree from Youngstown University, but a lot of the work you're doing is beyond nursing.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that leap and how that happened.
Yes. The leap came because even as a young child, I always wanted to be a person who helped other people. And so then I also said, I want to become a nurse. And going into the field of nursing, of course, you connect with so many people that are in need of care. And after so many years of doing that, I began to literally walk into the hospital and I would get a splitting headache. And at that point, I said, it must be time for me to advance. It's time for me to leave and branch into something else. But in that, I recognized the fact that for the empathy that I had for people and the need to help others, it then transformed me or transitioned me into entrepreneurship and business ownership, helping those that are looking to do more in the industry.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Constance, can you tell us a little bit about your business and also how you channeled a tragedy into running a business?
Right. So ITH Staffing is a national staffing company based in the United States. That means we hire and place individuals from entry level all the way to C-suites. We represent some of the largest clients in the United States, including Kaiser, AutoZone, eBay, some companies that you're familiar with. In 2014, my husband passed away due to a car accident. He just didn't come home. And our daughter at that time was 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so I had a choice. I could either go back into corporate America, which was my background, or I could channel my grief into something that would create a legacy, not only for myself, but for my family. And so in that, I birthed ITH Staffing, which stands for Information Technology and Healthcare. So we are heavily involved in transforming lives through employment within the information technology and healthcare sectors. And we started the company in 2014. Within a year, we broke records over $3 million in revenue, and we've doubled ever since. And so it really is a story about that. Tragedy doesn't have to be a limiting factor, and that you can actually take pain and use it as fuel to be able to get you to the next level and not dwell in a place of fear. And so that's what I believe that we've been able to accomplish through ITH Staffing.
Wow. That is incredibly inspiring. But what is this? We're here to talk about developing the entrepreneurial spirit, but it's often said that they're born entrepreneurs. What's your take on that? Is it something you're born with or something you can develop?
Well,
I believe it's something you develop because, too, you have to develop your skill sets to become an entrepreneur, but it's the passion. A lot of times, of course, we jump into things. We have our degrees and all of those things that are necessary to advance in this world. But entrepreneurship is something so different. It's such different from working and being in the workplace and advancing. And so it's having that passion and knowing I'm to do more. It's something, understanding that you're supposed to branch out and help other people and create a pathway for more people to be able to work, economical development and things of that nature. And so I believe it's something that we develop, but I believe it's something on the inside that says there's something more that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be that trailblazer. I'm supposed to be that innovator that creates the jobs for other people and to create things just for our world to be a better place.
So just to bring this in, both of you are based in the U.S. Yes. You're in Nigeria right now. What brings you both to Nigeria?
Okay. Well, for me, I'm here with LaTonya on behalf of the L.I.S.T tour. But one of the things that I'm really very
the L.I.S.T tour?
The L.I.S.T tour,
okay.
Yes.
You're going to tell us more about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But what I'm really passionate about is AGOA. And AGOA was an act which first started in 2000. And it allows African companies to be able to export goods into the United States tariff-free. Well, in 2014, Nigeria only exported about $6 million worth of goods into the United States.
She was just talking about that.
Yes, whereas in sub-Saharan Africa, they exported $6 billion worth of goods into the United States. Now, we only have about 5 years left on AGOA. And so I'm here not only as an American, but I'm also an African born in Zambia. And I'm here to say, hey, people, what are we going to do? We have 5 more years of AGOA left. Nigeria has the capacity, ability, and resources to be able to export more goods. You can export anywhere from rice to beads to clothes, to apparel, to wool, to anything you can think of, even livestock into the United States. And Nigeria is not doing that. And so I want to partner up with Nigeria to say, look, I have successfully ran businesses in the United States. I can help you along with the L.I.S.T tour to maybe start the conversation about those entrepreneurs who want to see beyond Nigeria in terms of exporting their products into the United States. So that is my personal fight, and thankfully I have a great partner in the L.I.S.T tour that has allowed me to come here to be able to start the conversation.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So we got to know about this L.I.S.T tour. What is the L.I.S.T tour?
The L.I.S.T tour stands for Lessons in Success Training for the Entrepreneur. Because we realize so many people want to become entrepreneurs or go into the business of entrepreneurship, that they're still lacking, we're all still lacking areas of mentorship, accountability, developing the skills that are necessary to make a business, have a business that's profitable. A lot of times we go into entrepreneurship and it's a hustle. And it's a hustle when you're not making money. And so it's now time for us just to cross the waters. It's time for us to leverage our cultures, come together, bridge the gap, because we can make so much and we can do so much together, just coming in and taking what we know, developing what we can develop, and taking the world.
Very interesting.
It is. But the figures you just cited are staggering, really. It is a huge shortfall. What have you found to be the challenges in Nigeria? What is holding us back on the entrepreneurial scene?
Well, I think when it comes to export, specifically, lack of just knowledge that AGOA is actually there as a way for business to prosper. I think Nigeria is also unique because over the last year, you've had an over-reliance on crude oil, right? And so because of that, it's sort of narrowed the scope. And so I think it's awareness and education is number one. And also, too, the fear of the unknown. Right? The United States is all the way there. Who can I trust to be able to deliver the goods and services? And the same for the company in the United States. And that's where we kind of come in. So we're sort of the bridge in between, because we understand the African way of doing things, and we also understand the American way of doing things. And hopefully we can create the resources, information, and work with a lot of the great committees that you already have here. You have some fantastic AGOA committees, and so I'm hoping to be able to work and partner with them and work and partner with many successful African companies in the diaspora. And I think that we just need to start to bridge the gap between the Africans in the diaspora and the Africans here on the continent, and be able to have that that exchange. So I think that's really what it's going to take. Yeah.
When you look at AGOA across the continent and the success it's had, what are some of the products you're seeing, especially when we look at West Africa? Because maybe that also is it. Let's even tell people some of the things that Ghana is exporting, Republic of Benin is exporting, maybe Senegal, like things that we already know. We have the same temperature, we have the same vegetation.
Right.
What are those things that you're seeing that are...
Right. Dried fruits, dried vegetables, tomatoes, onions, beans, rice, groundnuts.
But those things have a standard that they have to be up to. They obviously have, you know, can you tell us? Just
Right, and I mean, I think that when you're talking about fresh fruits, dried fruits in general, whether it's dried fruits or vegetables, have a higher chance. But part of it is that part of what we do is actually give you the standard. Right, so the standard is given to you, and then if you're able to follow that standard, it will open up the door. But the drier the goods, the better.
Okay,
right?
okay,
But you can export fresh products. Those are going to undergo more scrutiny. But things like timber, right? Things like even paper, things that you can export, even things like stone. Actual stone, whether it's clay stone you can export into the United States. You can export things that are used within automobiles into the United States. You can export all kinds of apparel. I mean, Nigerians are known for their fashion sense. That can come, look, for example, and that can go through AGOA. Beads. We see so many of our women who make beaded necklaces and jewelries and all of this can be exported through AGOA. You know, so jewelry, watches, there's so many different items. AGOA has over 6,500 items on their list that you can export, over 6,500. I'm sure we can narrow it down to about 50 that Nigeria is really good at.
And then let's focus maybe on 10 of those.
And let's
try to
focus
move
on
the
10.
needle.
You're right, because 6,500 is a lot. And so I'm sure, and if we can just start with 10, 20, and just become really good, and do corporate and become really, really good and really, really focused, we can align them with the market. Because part of it is that, well, I have the goods and service, but where's the market in the United States? When you have partners which are in the United States, we will make those connections for you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So you've been on the list, you're on the L.I.S.T tour. Is Nigeria part of a number 5 country on this tour, or what have you been doing so far? What have been some of the engagements with entrepreneurs? What has surprised you the most?
I am excited about being here because this is the motherland for me, you know, being an African American. And so
have you done a DNA test? Because
you know what? I think it's time for me.
But anyone that does a DNA test, for some reason, there's a part that is somewhere. So we're already going to assume that it is.
Right here, okay. What it is that I'm excited because, but Lagos, Nigeria will be our first place for the international L.I.S.T tour because, of course, in America, we hit the different states already. But I knew it was time for us to come to the motherland and just be a part because it's time for us to bridge the gap. It's time for us to do so much together. And so I'm excited about doing that. And just like Constance was talking about hers, even our sponsor, our international sponsor, he is Nigerian, SDAC Calling app. And so we're so excited about what they're doing with their business and how we can all work together and intertwine. And so Lagos, Nigeria is the first leg for the international L.I.S.T tour. Yes,
Fantastic.
Yes.
And so what are you going to be doing now while you're here in Lagos?
We have been here since, I believe, what, Tuesday, Thursday?
I came in Tuesday.
She came in on Tuesday. We have had the opportunity to meet with so many different entrepreneurs and groups. Robert Taylor Media Company, as well as some very influential people that are already here in Nigeria. And that was something that we wanted to do anyway, because I truly believe before you start to branch out, you need to meet with people and hear the pulse, what's happening in the area, because what happens in the United States is not the same that happens here in Africa. And so we wanted to come in and hear what's happening and see how can we work together to bridge the gap, especially as entrepreneurs, and just make an impact in this world.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But how can we bridge the gap?
Yes.
You know what? You are so educated. I want to say smart, and everyone, you guys have a fund of knowledge. And so we want to be able to just glean, as well as be able to bring people here from America and be able to glean from one another. But we both bring so much information to one another to where it's so necessary for us to make a greater impact in this world. And so that is exactly what we're looking for. And so you all have it going on. Let me say this, you really, really do. And so we're just excited just to come in and say, well, how can we just pull it all together and just impact the entire world? Yes.
So, I mean, as you sort of have started this tour now, you've been here a few days. Constance, what's one of the things you've been able to do with AGOA of the $6 million that is currently being exported? What have been, I mean, how can we even expand that base of people? Have you been able to meet with them, engage those people? And what type of products are this $6 million already?
Well, the $6 million that was exported, that was back.
You said was. No, don't say that.
That was 2014.
Don't say
If my numbers are correct, for 2018 year to date, Nigeria's only done about 2 point something.
No, we don't want to hear that.
So we have a lot of work ahead of us.
So let's look at that
Yes.
$6 million. When you looked at that $6 million, what were the type of products that were in that $6 million?
It was,
mix?
well, I don't know the specifics, but I know it was some agriculture.
Okay, agriculture.
So some definitely agriculture and some dried products. Like, so I think maybe like textile or fabric. And that was kind of the bulk of it. I don't know the specific breakdowns on
But
that.
then you said we've gone from $6 million to $2 million.
Well, the year's not quite over yet.
You're a true optimist.
You're very kind.
I do not. I don't know how up
and
to
maybe
date
there's some
those
stuff on the
numbers
high
are.
seas as
Right.
they speak
I
right now.
don't know how
But
up
let's
to
even
date
say
those
we're now down
numbers
50.
is.
We're now probably going to be 50%
Yes.
down. How do we? I mean, we're starting off from such a low base. What can be some of the causation of losing those?
Again, it's really awareness. Like most of the people that I've spoken to since I've been here since Tuesday do not even know what AGOA is. And these are entrepreneurs running business. They've never heard of it, ever heard of it. So it really is an awareness thing.
Where does that blame lie? That people don't know what AGOA is? It is something that more of the leadership of our country needs to do? Is it something that the American leadership on the ground needs to do? Who really needs to be the driving force around AGOA knowledge?
Right, but for me, my knowledge of AGOA started from my extreme obsession with change, you know, and how can we, and because I'm African and because I'm also American, I've always been curious about what can we do to export our very rich goods into the United States. So I think everything starts with passion and desire. And I feel like once you're passionate and desire, you have the desire, you're going to find those solutions regardless of government. And either way, it wasn't the government or states who taught me about AGOA. It's me saying, like, there has to be something that can help with this. So I think that in terms of blame, I don't think there's one person particularly to blame. Although, of course, any leaders of any organization have a responsibility to spread the information to the masses. So I think we just almost need to start from ground zero. Maybe start in
just a fresh opportunity.
Just a fresh opportunity.
We need to look at it as a 5-year opportunity now.
5 year, and if we actually do a good job, maybe we can get it to extend another 10 years because AGOA is in its second renewal. It did expire and then was renewed again, and so we have this. We're in the second 10-year space, and so hopefully, if we start to show the United States that, look, we are serious about this. We do want to export goods into the United States. Hopefully we can get another 10-year term. And so I just really feel that we really need to just start the conversation. I would love to have a list of entrepreneurs who do have goods that they are serious about. And I think that once we start to collect the data, then we can start to narrow it down to maybe the 20 that we're going to focus on and just really be intentional about helping those entrepreneurs bring the products into the United States. I'm sure there's going to be a learning curve. With everything new, there's always a learning curve. But the good thing is that the Nigerian business owner does not need to do it by themselves anymore. They have partners within the United States who want them to succeed. And so that's, I think, what's going to make the difference is just to say, you know, there are many African diasporan-owned companies who are very interested in helping their brothers within the continent actually bring their goods into the United States. Yeah.
You refer to your passion and your zeal for change. You refer to basically a calling. So entrepreneurship is not all about dollars and cents, is it? There has to be some kind of a drive. I'd like you to encourage Nigerian entrepreneurs, because here, apart from these problems with information dissemination, we also have quite a challenging business environment. The World Bank's doing business reports, we've dropped. Ease of doing business in Nigeria, yes. It's pretty low. We're number 146 out of 190 countries.
And that means we dropped a few points, because at one point we did go up 10 points, and now we've gone back down.
Yes. So the Nigerian entrepreneur faces pretty steep challenges whereby this passion can be tested, your drive can be tested. I want you to encourage Nigerian entrepreneurs.
You know, I feel like, speaking for me personally, I've had to overcome not only a death, but a bankruptcy. I've lost businesses, I've started businesses, lost millions. You just really have to have that inner fight to realize that once you set it in your mind, it does happen. But you also have to be very intentional. I talk about intentional all the time. You have to be very intentional about what you're doing every single day. I say wake up with an agenda. It's going to be hard. America's not that easy either for the black business owner. You know, the statistics are not for us. 83% of all small businesses in the United States are on the brink of financial disaster. 83%. That means 1 in every 2 businesses, if they don't get paid, the next invoice are not going to be able to make payroll or have a high chance of filing for bankruptcy. So we may just cover it a little bit better, but the problems are still the same. And what I found out, for me personally, I control the voices in my head very, very, very specifically. If it's negative, it doesn't hit my brain. And that's what has been able to help me get back up from bankruptcy, get back up from divorce, get up from death, and build these multi-million-dollar businesses, is because I control the noise in my head. For me personally, that's what it is.
And for me, it's all about giving people hope. Understanding the fact that you are not alone, and there is hope for each and every entrepreneur that is looking to branch out from where they are now to get to the next place that they want to be in life. And also, just like Constance went through so much, dealing with stress, dealing with divorce, dealing with depression, almost committing suicide myself because I thought there was no hope. And so it caused me to branch out and want to be that catalyst for people to say, no, there's hope for you. And so we can take what's in our hands, because we're gifted. We have gifts and we're talented just by what we have to offer, to develop the wealth within our society, within our communities, and to just do what we need to do and to prosper and to be productive and then be happy people.
LaTonya is taking us to church this morning. Amen.
It's Sunday.
Amen.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. We wish you all the best with your endeavors, and we look forward to seeing you again next time you guys are in town.
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you.
An absolute pleasure. We're heading on a short break now, but when we come back, we'll be discussing mental health issues with mental health strategist Dr. Akindotu Merino. Stay with us.